four things that are essential to being successful. What brings you to Detroit? I said, well, I'm here to pay my last respects to Miss Franklin. He said, no way. Wait a minute. I want to introduce you to some people. And my mom says, don't surround yourself with chickens because they can't fly.
True.
Sometimes we get signs that something is not good or not right, and we keep doing it because I'm always allowed to be authentically myself. Let's do it.
This is the Promise of Possibility podcast, sharing stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things so you can be inspired to do so too. I'm Maruja Bohart. Let's dive in. My douchey Shirma, it is so good to have you here, my sister from another mister.
Definite. The, ple-
So good to have
the
you.
pleasure is mine. It's good to see you.
Oh my, it's been too, well, we got to see each other not too long ago,
Yeah.
thankfully,
Yeah.
after years and years and years.
Years and years and years. So this is
And
amazing.
that was gezellig, as they say in Dutch. How do you translate that to
That was
English?
fun. It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
amazing. It was all of that.
It was all of that and more. And
And
you got to meet my kids.
oh, you're beautiful kids. You're smart kids. You're genius
No.
kids.
Okay, all right. They're gonna get really big heads after this.
They are lovely. They're good.
No. Yes, it was really good. The family, we got to see each other. Um, so I have known Sherma for eons. And before she was the Sherma, okay, just let me share something about Sherma. She is one of the biggest artists in the Netherlands, and she is doing, I will say that, yes, because that is the truth. And she is doing amazing things everywhere, not only in the Netherlands, everywhere in the world. But so there is this saying, Sherma, there's this saying in business, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave the room, right?
Whoa.
Yes.
That's
And it is the truth. And so for me, both in business and in music, I ascribe to that. So when I hire people to work on a project in my company, um, I hire people that are smarter than me
that
because that's when you get the work done, and that's when you're a good leader. And as a singer, I work with backup singers that are stronger and can put it out there like nobody's business because that's when you get carried. Like
100.
you can't get through a concert if if your backup singers are weaker than you. So you go with
100.
singers. There are a lot of people that um for ego's purposes, they don't want to work with people that are better than them.
Mm.
But I have the honor to have worked with you so many times. And there's so many amazing,
The pleasure and honor was mine, but okay. Go
no,
ahead.
well, honey, that was just, it was, it was amazing. So anyway, let's get back. We'll get back to that. We'll get to that later. You don't sing backup anymore, and you made that pivot at some point, which I want to get into. But let's go back, way back to the beginning, back to Saint Eustatius, the station, and tell me how you started singing.
Well, I thank you for that beautiful introduction, by the way.
It's okay.
I grew up in the Dutch Caribbean islands, and on one of the smallest islands, Saint Eustatius. I was born on Curacao, your island. I was born on Curacao,
All right.
but my parents moved back home when I was about 1 years old, and
Mhm.
I started singing actually because it's in my DNA. My mom always says I was born singing. My grandmothers were both singers and musicians. One was a Hammond player. My dad is a musician, so for me music was not something that I had to learn or sing.
Mhm.
It was something that was, yeah, in my DNA. It was given to me,
Right.
generationally. So I started singing in church. I remember I was maybe 6, 7 years old. I was already like performing in church. So this is what I'm doing now as a for my living. Is it still doesn't feel like I'm working. It still
That's the most amazing
it
thing,
still
right?
feels like I'm just being. So and
Mhm.
stage is very small. It's 21 square kilometers, 11 square miles. About
Yeah.
3 to 4 thousand people lived on that island. So I had a very protected, very calm, very structured but free youth. My
Mhm.
dad took us to the beach, and we had just good living. I'm blessed to say that I had a most amazing time, and I'm the eldest of five kids, so it was gezellig. We had a lot of
Gezellig.
good times, a lot of good
Yes.
times. Yeah.
Amazing. And so when did you move to the Netherlands? So, for
Well,
context, to anybody watching, when after we finished school, a lot
secondary.
of us
Yeah.
moved either to the Netherlands or to the US.
Yes.
And you moved to the Netherlands to study?
Yeah, so when I left St. Stacia when I was 16. I went to Curacao because to do secondary education, we and at the time I was growing up, Stacia was very small, so we didn't have like all the levels, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So at a given point, I moved to Curacao. I did Radolfus College. That's
My alma mater too.
mm-hmm. And then I came to the Netherlands and I studied chemistry. I came here to
Mhm.
study chemistry. And that's like people like ask me like Shirma, but why chemistry? I'm like, why not? It was it was my mom is a medical analyst and my dad does is a natural resource manager. He focuses on environment. So for me it was like the most natural choice to do something
Yeah.
uh like chemistry, physics kind of realms. So
Yeah.
that's why I came to the Netherlands because it was the Netherlands or the States.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I chose Holland because I'm the oldest of five and tuition in America is out of this world. So I didn't
Yes. Yes.
feel it didn't feel right to go to America when I know I'm the first of many
You have
that's
4
still
more.
to come.
Yeah. 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 Okay, and when you moved to the Netherlands, did you get into the music world straight away, or
Right
how did
away,
that?
right away.
Wow.
I had friends that came the year before me, and they were part of a gospel choir of Leo Davila. That's a guy from
Yes,
Curacao, a great arranger and piano player.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I had the
and
pleasure of working with him as well.
yeah, and he had a choir that rehearsed every week in Rotterdam, and my friends were like, "Hey, Sherman, you don't want to join the choir because it's a way to connect, a way to see each other."
Yeah,
So I started like I came in August, and in October I think I already started with the choir, and after like a few weeks, the bass player in the band that's played with Leo, he said, "Hey, Sherma, I'm the bass player of Tasha's World, and they're looking for backing vocals."
yeah.
I was like, whoa, I just got here. And people are asking
Already asking
asking
you.
me to
Yeah.
work. So I went and I started touring with her and I did that for like 5 years. I did
Where did you tour? Like,
we went all over the world from South
mhm.
Africa to New York to London. She played a lot, you know.
Yeah,
So we
yeah, I
traveled a
remember.
lot, Germany and different places. So
Mhm.
and while I was doing that, I was still studying and traveling, and then more artists started to ask me. I played with you, some gospel stuff we did with you.
Oh my god, I just I have this memory, and I'll bring it back. I'll bring it up later because it's connected to this incredible self-confidence that you have that I wanna talk about. There's a moment that stands out in my mind, and I don't wanna mention it now, but there's a song that I think about every time I think about what we used to do, and I
Kimber
think about
Kimberell,
yes, Kimber over and over
over
again.
again.
Oh my gosh, yes, and, being in my house and practicing
We still
those
reminisce.
harmonies
We still reminisce on that
with
song
our dear sister Dorothy, who's now doing amazing
with
things with Shermanology.
Shermanology. And
Yes,
Julie,
and
Julie,
Julie, yes, and again,
Raquel. Yep. We
it
still
was amazing. So that song just comes up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my mind.
We still
Yeah.
we still reminisce on that song, believe me.
Oh, that song was it was
Out of this world.
amazing.
Out of this world.
Yeah,
Out of this
but
world.
a lot of work to get those harmonies,
Ooh, man. But now we know it. If we see each other now we can do it.
we do it
I,
like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Um and
But and you sang, I mean, thank you for mentioning me, but you sang backups for
yeah, yeah.
Chaka Khan
For everybody.
and
Yeah.
for
For
Micheal Bolton,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and
Can
also
you talk a little bit about that? Like, how did that happen?
well it's strange, but I think that because people see you and they meet you that the next person talks about you or the other person, So
Yes.
when I did Tasha's World, then I met Candy Delver and I toured with her a very long time, a good while. and then through her, the Metropole Orchestra and Metropole Orchestra, they did, Shaka Khan, Micheal Bolton,
Yeah.
um, all the greats, a lot of greats I had the opportunity to do backing vocals for
Yeah.
because they did.
Electrical, yeah.
Anyone
And
wanna walk
I had
in
the
the goddamn El Jerreau, all those kind of,
amazing,
you know,
amazing.
hon,
Yeah,
hon blessed, and
yeah.
Anouk is a big Dutch
Yes.
artist here, and I did a
And
lot of
you went to
Eurovision.
Eurovision.
Yeah.
And is it true? I remember reading somewhere that the Eurovision Times named you one of
Hmm.
the biggest backup vocals
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
fabulous.
crazy.
That's just amazing.
It's
Amazing.
it's crazy just for a ooh and a ah.
But it's your ooh and
It's
ah.
a crazy.
It's not just any ooh and
It's a
ah.
ooh and a ah. I'm like, wow, God is good. How op met me. But yeah. So in the course of my life career, I've had the opportunity as a backing vocalist to do a lot of studio recordings from TV, from movies, from commercials to artists like records. Alain
Yeah.
Clark, Walter Hammond. A lot of different kind of things I had the opportunity to do, which is great.
And it kind of prepared you, and it was the foundation. It laid the foundation for, when you decided to go out on your own.
Definitely.
What what made you decide? I mean, obviously, I think many of us around you have been saying, you need to do your own thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when did you decide? And
Well, well,
what was it that propelled you?
well, after I finished chemistry, I did conservatory. I studied jazz in
Okay. Okay.
Rotterdam. Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I studied jazz, and while I was studying, as a project, I decided to do as an end project. I do my own record. So my first album is actually my
Your thesis, basically.
yeah, yeah. So I did that as a project to for my last final concert, and that's how it started. In
Mhm.
2010, I released my first record,
Yeah.
Chocolate Coated Dream. Do you see?
Oh, chocolate coated
That's
dreams.
me.
I remember. I can see the cover like
That
right before.
that's me. Just so
Go
y'all
girl.
know.
Go girl.
I is. Um, and that was actually the beginning of like the shift from backing vocal to lead singer. But I
Mhm.
kept on the backing vocals like 3-4 years after still, because I was doing
Okay.
like all these big artists. So it's like difficult to
Yeah.
to go from always working to like being a struggling artist to begin with your own stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so I combined the two for a while, so I could always have like steady income to be able to invest in my
In your old career.
in my products.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I never, in all the years I've been living here, 25 years, I never had a paycheck. I've always been
Self-employed,
yeah,
like an entrepreneur.
always,
It is being an entrepreneur.
always.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always done that. So it
And
worked.
that's something to be applauded as well, because it's not easy. I mean,
No,
it's
it's
not
not. It's
easy,
not.
and it's something that I think is also in your DNA to be
I
willing to do that.
I think it's something that can be cultivated, but you need to have examples. If
Mhm.
you have good examples, then a lot of things are possible. Or you have to be your own example. So you have
That's
to
right.
you have to create your own future. And
Yeah.
as a teacher, because I taught a very long time. As a
You
teacher,
thought singing,
yeah,
music,
music
vocals?
production. I
Mhm.
produce as well. I do different artists, their records and stuff. I do a lot of things that people don't see. I just do things that I love to do. So
I love it.
in
Yeah.
these kind of conversations, I sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I do that too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I do
But
that.
as a teacher, I have a saying that I teach my students is that your past is not your future. The
Mm,
steps that you take define your future. The
that's
choices that you make, and I believe that that's something that we can cultivate. We can really
yeah.
teach a new generation to go beyond their circumstance. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I truly
And
believe
I
that.
just yeah, and I love that you're saying that, because one of the purposes of for me this podcast is just an extension of my stage.
Mm,
Um, and I've always, and my stage actually now includes, and one of the things that I mentioned just now that a lot of people don't know is is that I have a marketing business that I've had for over 20 years working with some of the world's biggest brands.
mm.
But that's also part of my stage. And what
That's a
I've,
big part of your stage because it's still you.
it is
Sometimes
it is.
people tend to want to put us in a box.
Hmm.
You're a singer, or you're a
Hmm.
marketeer, or you're a
Yeah.
teacher. But I believe that the entity us. So you as Maruja, me as
Yeah.
Shirma,
It's,
we are a brand. We are
and
something.
oh my God, you are hitting the nail on the head. And we haven't, I just want to say we haven't spoken before
No, we
this
are a brand.
interview.
No, we are
Yeah.
we are a brand. That's how
Yes.
that's how I see myself. I'm not.
Yes.
To me, I'm Shirma here in my house in Rotterdam. I'm Shirma, but to everybody else outside, I'm a product. People want me to, or because I'm a cook as well.
Yeah.
I have two cookbooks.
Yes. Gotta
TV.
talk about that.
I have TV programs where I cook. But I mean,
Yeah.
so that's some people know me as that, but
Hmm.
most people know
Hmm.
me as a singer. It's
Yeah.
so interesting because I don't have to be one or the other. We are a product. So you can
Exactly.
people.
And that's wonderful. And actually, the minute you realize that so there's two sides to this, right? Because at first you're a product and other people manage you as that product
Mm,
until you get to the point
mm.
that you take that product into your own hands, right?
Well, for me,
And
I have always done that.
that's amazing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing for me as a. But that's from my upbringing. I have a
Yeah.
very strong mother. I have a
Mm,
mother that has taught me to that I am the boss over my own life
absolutely.
in
Amen,
in
sis.
everything that I do.
Hmm.
So I can have a manager, but you're not managing me. You're managing my ideas,
Yes.
not me.
Yes.
You're
Amen.
not managing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never had a label. I've never had a all the things that I've done are things I did because I wanted to do it and because I believe I can do it. So
Mm.
I wrote a book,
Yeah.
184 pages, more than 50 recipes, and then I did it twice, and now the third one is coming. But I had never ever in my life written a book or assisted anybody with a book. I just had a vision
And you just went for it.
and I do it. And
Yeah.
I've been doing that. I just recorded an album with the orchestra, my own production. I had six arrangers write for me. But it's like just to show you that we are our own worst enemy. So I always
Absolutely.
think in possibilities and I can do whatever I want to do. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to have an end date. I just
No.
start. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
how I
Because
move.
it's when you take it's taking that first step.
Mm.
And it's very interesting that you mentioned is because um so I started singing when I was very, very young
Mm.
and very, very young,
Mm.
like and in the public side when I was before I was 4.
Mm.
And my career took a different like quite a different progression. I sang gospel for a long time
Mm.
as well. And that was under my own production.
Mm.
And then I do say I was blessed to get record deals.
Yeah.
And at the pinnacle of my career, I was with Universal, which was an incredible opportunity.
Mm.
But it is interesting because the journey is different then because what I was saying, having things in your own hands, there is a beauty to that because it makes
You have freedom.
you have
You have
freedom.
freedom.
Yes.
You if
Yes. And it
you have to see like these a deal is like having a pot that's the chicken is cooking, you're busy making a nice sauce, but
yeah.
somebody else is flavoring your taste.
That's that's right.
Th-
That's right.
Just
And I don't say
and
that.
it's not bad. No, I'm not saying it's
No, 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 no.
no
I
no
was
no
just gonna say I don't say this
no
to um
no
to rain on that parade
no no
because I
no.
am extremely grateful for it because it brought me so many opportunities to
Mm.
work with incredible people and um but it does in a way, I know for me, what you're talking about, that self-confidence and that, and that brand and all of that, I do know for sure. It's interesting because the reason I think it's so interesting that you mentioned that is because I actually, having fused together my experience of 20 years working with brands, and I am a researcher as well. So I did a lot of research for positioning, for branding, and stuff like that. And then having paved my own way in all these different facets of having worked with major labels and down to, doing my own thing. I I've developed a course in personal branding because I think it's so important, not only for artists, but entrepreneurs. Anything you want to do is to develop that. Who are you? Like, because if you want people to know you for what you do, there has to be an entity. Like you say, there has to
Product.
be an
Yeah.
yes. And so, excuse me, everything I've gone through has formed the brand that I am.
Mm.
And that has built my self-confidence, and it's the self-confidence that I wanna talk about because for me, having worked with a lot of companies, it does mean that what you're right, they add to the flavor and they also decide what the soup looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the pot of soup looks like, and
Mm-hmm.
if it looks good and if they think it looks good, and
Mm.
does it need to be a smaller pot, if you hear me? Does it need to be a smaller or bigger pot?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that has really I talked about this, last week on a podcast. Um, I had an eating disorder for a long time, and that had to do with being in the public eye.
Mm.
And, so there's a lot that comes with that. And I had to go through the journey to really find, and, plus I'm over 50. So at this point, it's just like,
You're what?
think, I am 52.
What? Oh,
I love you.
let's just stop for a minute and bask in Maruja. Just a minute. Can I? Girl.
Yes, you may. Please do.
Over 50, she drops it like it's hot. Mm.
Drop it like it's hot. Like,
Over
my
50,
God.
girl, you look so good. Okay, go
Oh, I
sorry.
love you.
Go ahead.
I love
I
you.
love you too, that you know that. Go ahead.
So,
The process. You have to
what
go through
I'm
the
trying to
process.
say
You have to
is,
go through the process.
yeah. So, what I was trying to say is at some point when you get to 50, then it's interesting. It's also at 50 that I decided to get back on the stage after
Mm.
being away for like over 10 years.
Mm.
There's something that happens that comes with maturity. And I think for you, that happened so quickly.
Mm.
um, which is one of the things that I really want to dive into, and I'm in awe of, and I've always been in awe of. When I mentioned in the
That's
beginning,
my
when
mother. That's my
uh,
mother. But go
I
ahead.
love it.
But that's my mother.
When I mentioned in the beginning, uh, we we were on a train. I remember this as if it were yesterday. We were on a train from Rotterdam to Amsterdam. I don't think it was when we were going to do the performance where I can't remember where it was, close to the central station in Amsterdam.
Mm.
When we did, Over and Over Again by Kim Burrell. I don't think it was that day, but it was a day that we were going to Amsterdam. It was you and I think Dorothy, all these amazing singers for those who don't know. Um, and we got on the train and you were singing and, you just started singing. And I remember going, how does she do that? Because, and you know why? Because forever I would never just start singing out of the blue somewhere where people are around, just being bashful and
Mm. Mm.
almost embarrassed and
Mm.
embarrassed for what, and to the point that I've had an argument with my husband. This was a long time ago, that he was just like, "Why do you have to hide yourself like that? Why is it
Wow.
that what are you embarrassed of?"
That's
And so
that's beautiful
and
that he saw that in you to tell you, because you need
yeah,
people that love you to show you your value.
it's true.
You do.
That's true. Until you
I got goosebumps saying that to you. You
oh,
need people that love you to show you your value, because it's so
yeah,
important, to get back to go from what you're saying to why I'm like that. That's my
yeah,
mother.
that's
Look,
amazing.
I have amazing parents. I have a father that always, motivated us and pushed us to be the best in the room.
Mhm.
He says,
Mm,
if you're in a room, you have to be able to talk, speak, act, think like the best in the room. So
mm,
that's in preparation. That's in how I prepare my music, a rehearsal, whatever. I have to be the
mhm.
best in the room.
That's great.
And
And that's without pushing
no, no, no. I think
perfectionism.
it's perfection. Is to be a perfectionist, but also be aware that perfection does not exist. So it's
Yes.
so it's
That's beautiful, that contradiction in
yeah,
terms too.
yeah. Now I can say that, but and as a young kid growing up, it was very stressful because I was always pushing myself, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it made me to who I am today, so it's also a blessing. But
Yes. Yes.
my mother is a silent force, and it's like she always made sure that we knew that we are gifted, beautiful, and talented.
I love that so much. Yeah.
Always. So that meant that wherever I am, with whomever I speak, they
Mhm.
are not above me. Doesn't matter where I am, I'm always allowed to be authentically myself.
Mm.
That's the one of the greatest gifts that she has given to me, also to my
Mhm.
brothers and sisters. I see it also in my brothers and my sister. They're so confident.
That's a,
They come in a room and you notice that they're there. And
mm.
that's really the investment of my mother.
That's a gift. That's an incredible gift.
It is, it is,
Incredible
it is.
gift. I had, and it makes me think because it kind of makes me think why, and not that people would ever have thought that I lacked self confidence because I just got on stages as if it was, but it was, it's like being at home to me.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's the same, yeah.
know, but I think I'm an only child, so I don't have
Yeah,
brothers and sisters.
yeah.
Maybe that has some, and I always had this really big talking about really huge drive for perfection,
Yeah,
and it,
but I think for you, as because I know you,
yeah,
I think for you, the the biggest thing or the biggest problem was that it happened so fast. So you didn't have the chance to
yeah,
have a youth,
that's true.
to be a child.
Yeah,
Because I grew up
yeah.
on Stacia. It's a smaller community. I was performing and playing and
Mhm,
sometimes traveling with my dad, but I always had this home base that was
mhm,
very protected and small. So I
mhm,
had the
mhm.
chance to be a child.
Yeah,
You understand what
yeah.
I'm saying? So
I know
when
exactly what you mean.
when you grow up having career that I mean, she's being very humble, but you have done a lot of great things and a
Thank
lot of big things. And I think when you get into that kind of position where you're still searching to know who you are,
you.
a
Mhm,
lot
mhm.
of people have influence and say on how you do things because
Yeah, that's very
you didn't get a chance to say that your husband can ask you why are you hiding or like the parts of yourself is because literally those parts of yourself didn't get a chance to see the light as yet because you're
yeah,
you know
yeah,
so
that's very true.
it's also in this part of your life in this phase of your life even over 52 being 52 and not even in a bad way but being 52 it's like there's still a chance to be
Oh,
renewed you know
oh,
you know
absolutely, absolutely, and I striving. I'm not gonna be crying on my own podcast, okay?
why not I love to cry
No. But you hit some nails on the head, and I actually, it's a journey that I've been through that have has led me
mm,
to come back,
mm,
and not back just to be on the stage, but
for
really to
yourself
share.
for yourself
Yeah, for myself,
mm.
and also because I feel like I have a story to share to empower others because I have been through so much. And it's so funny. The guest, my first guest, which was Sarai Stanzik, Dr. Sarai Stanzik, she had a big influence in me coming back. Just that somebody just gives you that kick that you need, or that propels you. But and I was mentioning this last week that it took about 10, 15 years after my parents passed away because they passed away right when I was at the pinnacle of the biggest success that I'm working 30 years to get to that point. Actually, not 30 years because yeah, about 30 years because I was 33, 34 when I started touring with Asuka. But after that 10, 15 years of trying to find myself.
No
And what you're saying,
but also grief I mean
yes,
you loved
yes,
your parents unconditionally
yeah,
they were such an integral part of who you are because
yeah,
I
absolutely.
and I can say that because I know it You
Yeah.
know, for
Yeah.
the people that will see this, you have to understand that as a, if you know Maruja, you know she was in love with her parents, because
Yeah.
I am with mine.
Yeah.
So so
Absolutely. It reminds me a lot when you talk about your parents. It
yes,
reminds me of that. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
and but so you have also have to understand that as a singer, our instrument is our emotion. You cannot be a I don't you know, I have my parents, I still have my parents, praise the Lord, I'm grateful, but I cannot
Mm.
imagine having to sing a note if
Mm.
I had to lose even one of them. So you also have to understand that the break that you took was your chance, is your what you needed to do to heal.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if we want to go, we're going deep. This is deep.
We're going to,
But I believe, and I always thought so. But you know, when we knew each other, but there's like so much distance in where we live, so you don't have a chance to like have these kind of conversations. I
yeah.
always
Yeah.
thought, you know, it had to be that your inner heart, your inner voice was broken.
It was.
It
It
was
absolutely was.
broken.
I couldn't, Sherma, I couldn't sing. I
No,
didn't
but it's
sing at home even.
but it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible. I'm telling you, and this is from experience because I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a vocal coach, but also a mental coach because I do a lot of
Mhm.
vocal healing,
Mm.
and
That's such an incredible, it's such an incredibly important thing.
yes, because as a singer, you know, our instrument is our body. So any kind
Yep.
of pain, any kind of sadness, any kind of, and I mean, and it resonates to all parts of your life, eh? Also in
Yep.
your business, it will take over because it's
Yes.
such a part of ourselves.
Yes.
I had a time that I lost my voice.
Mm.
My voice just stopped working. Not There was nothing wrong with it. I went to the doctors and everything, but my voice stopped working. I could not literally. I was talking like this.
Oh my God.
So that's why I know that it's about emotional healing, because I
Yes.
was, you know, the thing about having a character and growing up in church, you know,
Mhm.
you give, you love your neighbor as you'd have them, as you'd have them do unto yourself, and all of the good stuff that is in scripture, like all the positive things that you should be doing in life. And I did it beyond myself. So
Mm.
I gave so much
Mhm.
that my voice said it
Mhm.
was enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, like I was working for everybody, running for everybody, sleeping a little, going to school, touring, teaching. I mean, I was
Yeah.
doing things that separate people have to do.
Mm.
But my
En
voice said, Shirma,
enough.
handbrake, it's enough. And,
Mhm.
and I didn't understand at the time, but I didn't sing for 6 months. I was I was out of it
Wow.
because my voice told me that it was enough.
Yep.
So
Yep.
imagine if your heart is broken, if your inner heart is broken.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do you want to sing?
And what's
Wait.
interesting is that people around you don't understand.
Yeah, people don't. Yeah, people don't understand.
No, they don't, and it's just, and it's hard for you to explain to them because you don't understand either, right? You don't
In
understand
it,
either.
when you're in
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
you
you're
know,
in it. But you said something that's so, um, poignant is that, it's your body, and that is why when I started first healing my physical body, like, I made some changes, like, I really adopted a lifestyle medicine and like a plant-based lifestyle, and started looking at all the facets, the stress, all of it. And that, as I started healing my body, I started healing my emotions, and I went very deep, started peeling away the layers of the onion. And that's when, that opened the door for me to, I think, properly heal. And I just thought, okay, I'm ready now to get back on the stage, not just because I want to get back and perform, but because I think people need to know that you can go through things and come back, or you can. not do what you've dreamed of for doing for your entire life, and at 50, decide you're going to pursue that dream
Yeah,
because it's never too late.
yeah, and I live by that. I believe that the best is yet to come.
Amen.
Every day, every
Yeah.
day I get up. I'm grateful for the new day, but I also tell myself, because I've been doing this a long time. I'm
Mhm.
turning 44 this coming week. This will be already aired, but I'm turning 44 in a few days.
Happy birthday, girl.
And, I mean,
Talk about 44. Look at your face. You're still
44.
44 in the face.
I'm turning
Gorgeous.
40. Thank you, love. I'm 44, and I still have so much more to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know exactly what you
I've
mean.
done a lot. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, a lot, but I have
Mhm.
not done all that I am supposed to do. It's still there's still some more things to check off my list. So
Yes.
his list, my list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think age is just a number.
Oh, it absolutely
When
is. It
pertaining to your message that you want to get across, I think it's whenever it comes, it's the right time. Whenever you do it, it's the right time. Whenever you feel it, it's the right
yeah.
time.
And it is, um, I think once you allow yourself to, and like Sherma is such an incredible, example of that, people. Whenever you feel, you allow yourself to feel that I can do anything I put my mind to, because we really can.
I
We
believe it.
really, truly can. I absolutely, well, the thing is that I believed it then too. I think I had that inner belief in me always. And my parents did give me that.
Mm,
And you so beautifully put into words why that insecurity was there. But I have that innate feeling that if I, and it takes work, you put in the work. It doesn't happen instantly because, we think that often as well. Like if I do this little thing, then it's going to make me super rich or whatever. It takes the work. You have to put in, have to put in the work, right? You
if
know?
I could have a little thing and make me rich, I would like signed up today. Okay, but it's not gonna happen. Mm-mm.
You have to put in the
You
work.
can't build a house without foundation.
Exactly.
No
Exactly.
walls, no roof.
Nah.
No windows, no light. So you gotta work your ass off. So I can say,
Yep.
and still, it's no guarantee. So
No.
you need to have also that's also something in business that I implement in my own life
Mhm.
is you have to have more than one basket.
Yes.
So you need to
Yes.
have more than one. I mean, most people, they get a job and they work for a boss, and every day for 40 years they do the same thing, right? But
Mhm.
I truly believe that each of us has more than one talent. You know,
Yeah.
we have more
Yeah.
than one thing that we can do. So it's
Yes.
so important to, and also you don't have to work for the same people for 40 years. After 4 years, if you see there's no growth, then you have to start looking
Somewhere
around
else.
and get
Yeah.
do work with somebody else because then you
Yeah.
always get a new higher salary. So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't have to stay in the same place that you've been.
That's right. That's
You
right.
don't
And I
have
think
to.
no, and I think there's so many of us that have that entrepreneurial spirit in us and are just afraid of because we think, "Oh, maybe that's not for me. I'm secure in where I am." And it doesn't mean that you have to give up your job. Some people can, you have what we call a side hustle. I don't believe in the hustle mentality, but we still call it a side hustle, and there is more than ever with the opportunities the internet gives us, just we can and that's why building that personal brand is so important. You build a certain this is who I am so that you can be seen for your expertise, right?
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and
uh,
to be seen, you have to see others as well.
Also, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's so important to not box yourself in. Don't allow society to decide who you should be, because that's a lot of people live by what they think they should be doing.
yeah,
And
yes,
for me, I'm glad that I learned a long time ago to step into every part of my potentials, every part. So I try and use everything that is given.
yes,
And it doesn't all have to be
yes.
at the same time, but it's very good
No,
to know when to prioritize which gift, you know?
Yeah,
So you did
absolutely.
the last 15 years you did one thing, and now you can, because that's going and that's moving as it should, then you can go back to.
And yeah, yeah, and go back to that and expand with other things. And talking about, doing, um, um, exploring all your gifts and putting them out there.
Mhm.
Talk about these incredible cookbooks.
Mm.
I still have to come to your house and have you cook for me, by the
Oh,
way,
don't worry.
because you make some incredible plant-based food as well.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I think
Tell
it's,
me about the cookbooks. Tell me about how that came to be.
well, that's also another part of my family generational history is we're all cooks. My grandmothers, my aunts, some were chefs, some studied French cuisine. Some, I mean, it's a lot of different levels of cooks in my family, and so I grew up in that atmosphere. You know, music and food, the two most essential things in life, were
Yes.
given to me from my childhood. You know, when I
Beautiful.
was 16, 17, I used to cook catering for 300, 400 people by myself. You
At
know,
16, 17?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
People think I learned cooking now, but I've been cooking a very long time. You know, so
Wow.
yeah. So when I was like in my early 30s here in the Netherlands, I did events called Shirma Soul Kitchen where I cooked like 3 4 course for 150 200 people, and I did live music with my band. You know, so,
Amazing.
and during those years, people would always ask, you know, Sherman, can I have the recipe for this? Can I have the recipe for that? And I never really, I didn't cook with recipes. I just cooked. You know, I cook.
Yeah.
Doesn't doesn't matter if it's for 500 or for five.
Yeah.
I cook. So I decided when COVID came and I had all of this time on my hands because we couldn't perform or sing, and I had my agenda was full with tours. So I thought, well, you know, this is could be something to give me time to do something else that I love. And
Yeah.
I started to write recipes, and I started to, like, my favorite things that I love to cook, you know, from stew goat meat to
Mm.
oxtail to jerk chicken to different cakes and different sweets, different snacks, Johnny cake, pastiche, different things that is part of our Caribbean culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first book was, yeah, was a fax, and now the second is last year released the second, and now the third is coming.
Amazing. And
Yeah,
you have a cooking show on TV as well,
yeah.
don't you?
In the Netherlands, 24 Kitchen is like the Food Network.
Yeah.
I cook Caribbean soul food, and also the plant based, because I believe that some people feel that plant if you eat plant based it's boring, but you can do so many amazing things with our
Right.
flavors
Oh,
and plant
absolutely.
based food. You know, the
Absolutely.
Caribbean vibe, but plant
Yeah.
based. You can do so much nice things. So I started to, you know, experiment with that a little bit, and
Fantastic.
because I think it's good to be an all around eater. You need to.
Mhm.
It's good to sometimes say today I'm just eating plant based, or this week, or just to as a to be aware of the environment, but also for the body,
For your health.
for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
for your skin. I
Yeah.
mean,
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
it's good for
Yeah.
so many different things for your mind. You know, to also not have so much processed foods and
Yeah. It's very important. The
yeah,
process.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And it's a process. I'm on a journey to being the best version of myself, and I think that it begins with healing the
Hmm.
body. Healing.
Absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit about, because you've been on this journey as well, and
Yeah,
I mean, you are in the gym and working it out.
yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah,
I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm still working on it
amazing.
because
Yeah.
I'm not done. But I think that it's the best gift that I've given to myself is creating the time, because to do that you need to make time. It's
Hmm.
creating
Yes.
time in your daily schedule to do something for yourself. I mean, like quality time with yourself. And
And is that how you see working out? Quality time with
yeah,
yourself?
yeah, yeah. Because it's like if I cook a meal for myself, it's also quality time for myself. So
Mhm.
I'm cooking a meal for my body
Yeah.
when I do something. some form of exercise. Even if it's I walk out the door 15 minutes and then I walk back 15 minutes, then I
Hmm.
have a half an hour walking.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It's just perfect. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to, it's not about being extreme, it's about being consistent.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is, and it's putting one foot in front of the other to get that consistency going. That's not, it's in exercise, it's in nutrition, it's in how we manage our stress, it's in everything. And also when we want to start a business or when we want to, further our career, it is that consistency and showing up every day,
For
no matter,
yourself.
for yourself, for yourself.
Yeah.
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 Because the fact that you show up and talking about self-confidence, if we talk about people that maybe want to have something on the side or want to start something because they have all these passions and they've like kept it inside and they haven't really done anything with them. There's a lot of times it's something to do with self-confidence, right? Like
Yeah.
can I really do
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Do I have what it takes?
Definitely.
But it's the way you build that self-confidence is just do the thing little by little
And
consistently.
also I have to be honest, it's also something that's the size of a mustard seed, and that's faith.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
that's what it is for me. I mean, I can't do it
Yes.
I can't do it by myself, but I also trust and believe that if this is for me, it will be for me.
Amen. Yes.
I
Same.
so that's how I mean, I'm getting goosebumps, but that's really my motivation. That's the
Yes.
only plan that I have, is that
Yeah.
I'm putting in the work in scripture in Proverbs 16:3. It says, "Commit your works unto the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." So
Mm.
that means that if you put in the work, so if you trust, if you step, if you move, then all your visions and dreams will come to fruition.
Yes. If you and it's exactly like it, and that it's the second step. It's that having the faith, knowing that if you put it out there,
Yeah. If it's for
that
you,
God will do the rest, but you have to take the first step
yeah, you
and you
gotta
have to
move.
take that. You got to move.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
move. You gotta move.
God can do a lot of things, but
If
he's
you
giving you
if you don't move, you can't work. I think in business, we are so focused on we have to do things by ourselves. But I think if it's not God for you, at least be aware that we need help.
Yeah.
You can't do things. You can, but it's a longer road and it's a lonely road. You also have to be like my mom says. Don't surround yourself with chickens because they can't fly. So eagles fly high. So if you have to find
Yes.
yourself some eagles that will inspire you as well. You can't
And that will lift you, yes. And if you don't have those people around you, listen to podcasts that inspire you, read books that inspire
mm-hmm,
you, and see who else has done it. Let me see how, Shirma inspires me. What has she done?
mm-hmm,
To learn from
mm,
others. And hopefully you can find those people around you. And it's also maybe they're not in business or maybe they're not in music, whatever it is you want to do, but if you can find those around you that don't pull you down, but that want you to grow, they want to see you grow. That's one of the most that's one of the most important things. Yeah,
definitely,
people to have those people around you.
definitely.
I just I coming back to music, you just recently released a CD,
Yeah,
gorgeous live CD, right?
Koninklijke
With
Luchtmacht with the Royal Dutch Air Force
Air
Orchestra.
Force Orchestra.
Mm,
Yes, and it's Aretha, and you the most amazing thing because and if guys, if you want to hear anybody sing Aretha, Emperor's Nigger on it, it is Shirma. Um,
thank you.
and I was listening to it, and Dr. Feelgood is the one that really, it just
That's
did something to
that's
my
my
soul.
that's my jam.
Yeah, that is, I could hear it from the
Mm.
first note. And but when Aretha passed away, you had an opportunity to go to the funeral.
Yeah, I went to Detroit. That's the thing. I by faith I booked a ticket and I went. I was like
Yes, the
I had never gotten the chance to see her live because the last two times that I had tickets, they got canceled because she was already ill. I was in
Mhm,
Canada and in New York. I
mhm,
was supposed to go and they got canceled. And so I decided, you know what, I want to pay my last respects. So I'm going to go
mhm.
to Detroit. And I booked the ticket, and my assistant booked me a hotel, and I took the Uber there to the hotel, blah blah blah. And when I got there, the hotel was like full of banners and pictures of her all over the lobby. So I went to check in. The guy asked me, "Do you have a room?" I said, "Yes, I have a room." I showed him the bookings code. He said, "Oh, you have the last room in the hotel." And you won't believe it, but it was the hotel where all her family was staying.
No.
Her whole family
I could talk about goosebumps.
was in the hotel. This guy
My
said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'm here to pay my last respects." From where? From the Netherlands?
heavens.
And from there it went crazy. I met in the elevator up to my room. I met a gentleman. He said, "Where you from?" You know, the Americans, they always talk.
Mhm.
"I'm from the Netherlands." He said, what brings you to Detroit?" I said, "Well, I'm here to pay my last respects to Miss Franklin." He said, "No way. Wait a minute. I want to introduce you to some people." And then he
Oh
introduced
my.
me to the funeral undertakers, Swanson, and their daughters were the ones that dressed Aretha every day in a different look.
Hmm.
And then they introduced me to her publicist, and then I met her niece. And I mean, I met so many people just by that little idea. And,
Of just going,
and you know,
just taking the step.
and you know what's magic is that at the end of all of that, I just did this. The concert, the record you're speaking of, it's a live recording. It was a studio.
Hmm.
They're all one takes. What you heard,
Amazing.
but we did
It's
a,
amazing.
but I did a tour the
Hmm.
end of last year, 2023, with orchestra, and her niece and two grandkids came to see.
To watch you give homage to their that is incredible, Shirma.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just wow.
that's amazing. They came for like 5 6 days from Detroit and one from LA. Was
Oh,
unbelievable.
to be able to pay tributes to somebody that
Mm,
inspired you so much
mm-hmm,
that you went to pay your last tribute to, and to
mm-hmm.
have her family come and, just support you and what you that is just talk about magic.
It's unbelievable. But I think that everything happens for a reason. I believe
Yeah.
that that there's a perfect timing.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
believe in perfect timing and
Yeah.
divine intervention.
Yes, absolutely. And and when you believe that, you also know that when things happen that actually, you know, when you're working on something and it doesn't go the way you hope it does, or it doesn't happen that moment. Because we believe in divine intervention, right? And because you have that faith, it might not feel good at that moment and it might really, really suck. But it's just because, when it will happen, because it will happen, it'll happen bigger and better and in the most incredible way. And I'm 100% sure of that. I believe that 100%.
Same.
Having seen things
Same.
walk out of my life or, just that in the end, the timing when it does happen couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, same. I
Yeah.
agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And it's life is something. Life can be living. Life can feel. You can feel hopeless, or you can feel lost, or you can feel you know desolate, like really
Mhm.
alone.
Mhm.
But I believe that it's not happening to you, but for you. I believe that all phases of challenge, of trials and tribulations are necessary for us to
Mhm.
wake up. Because
It's very true.
sometimes we get signs that something is not good or not right, and we keep doing it because we're
Yes.
loyal, or we love this person, or we love this
Yes.
situation. So then the shit hits the fan because you don't listen. You're not listening to the intuition, to the
Mhm.
voices that are saying, "Hey, listen, this is not for you. Hey, listen, the
Yeah.
situation is no good." So
Yeah.
then we fall into trials and tribulations,
Mhm.
and hopefully we can
We learn.
you learn.
Hopefully.
Hopefully you learn something from it that will, catapult you into the new season, to the new layer of growth that is
Yeah.
necessary to develop yourself in some other way. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us love being in pain,
It's so true.
love being
That is
the
true.
victim. So then you
Hmm.
get stuck
Hmm.
in that situation because it feels better to be in pain than be in control, because then you have no security.
No, and you can't blame anybody,
But this
right?
is the thing. So it's a victim role, and it's
Yeah.
and it's understandable, but it's not. But it shouldn't be. It's not your own.
It doesn't serve you.
No,
It doesn't serve you. No.
no, no. So I think and we do that in all phases of our lives, all facets of our lives, from work
Yeah.
to relationships to parents to children
Yes.
to
Yes.
friends. Whew.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Oh, talking to you is always like it's medicine for the soul. It's
Mm.
just, it's just so good, so good. Um,
Thank you.
if there's
Is it
oh,
we with you talking while talking with you, we get to go deep. We have
yes,
real conversation, and that's a
absolutely.
gift. That's a gift. That's
It
a gift.
is. And it's so good. I mean, we have to have these conversations, right? To grow and to keep growing and to keep
Motivate
evolving.
motivate each
Yes. And
other.
motivate and inspire. Yes. And inspire each other. And you so inspire me, honey. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, how did you make that happen? I got hearts coming off
Mhm.
the screen, which
Yeah.
is amazing. I love that.
Love
Uh,
you. Love you.
I love you so much. Sweetheart, if there's anything that you have imparted so much wisdom during this hour. If there's anything else that you could share with our audience
Well,
and
I think
into
yes, right
yeah.
away. I have it. The biggest thing and the thing I always share when I do coachings or workshops or any kind of thing that I have to talk to people, young
Mhm.
people, to motivate people is there are four things that are essential to being successful. Four
Mm.
things. Be on time,
Yes.
be prepared,
Mhm.
know the material better than the person that sent it to you.
Absolutely.
Number three, have social skills. So
Mhm.
I shouldn't even know if you have drama or not, because you're coming with great energy. You're
Yes.
uplifting the area. You're
Yes.
you're on. So social
Mhm.
skills, we're gonna be able to work with people.
Mhm.
And number four is cultivate your talent. Don't get
Mhm.
stuck in thinking, oh, my gift will save me. No, not because you're gifted doesn't mean that you don't have to work on your
That's right.
talent.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
it. Be on
Yeah.
time. Be prepared.
Mhm.
Sociable,
Mhm.
and cultivate your gifts. Uh,
Yeah.
don't think your gift will make room. No, your gift will make room, but to stay in the room, you got to work on your gift.
Amen. And that is if you want to be an artist, and this is for not just for young people, for people of any age, whatever you want to do in life. And that is so true. That's why I love you so much. But this is so true. After 15 years, I came back and doors were wide open for me to
Mm-hmm.
work with the producer that I worked with, and
Mm,
these people have worked with,
mm,
Grammy Award winning producers that I've
mm,
worked with
mm,
everybody.
mm.
And because I was always on time. I was always well prepared. I was always humble, polite, and not arrogant, not showing up with ego, and always, being the best at my craft that I could be. Just because doors, that is the goodwill that you create no matter what you do.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
can call anybody I've ever worked with,
Yes.
and I know that they will say, "Sure, of course, sure,
Yes.
no problem."
Yes.
And I
Yes.
can testify to that. That's a fact. I can call anybody and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I need you have a TV program. I need to promote something. Can you give me a slot?" Sure,
Yeah.
no problem. And I think it's part of your power if you
Yeah.
implement these four things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It makes
Uh,
it makes you a superstar
it really does in the best of ways.
in
Right?
whatever phase of life or whatever thing that
Yes.
you do.
Yeah, and whatever it is you do, you will be you'll be a superstar. The best words to end with, my darling, I love you so
Love
much.
you.
This was so
It's a
good,
pleasure.
and,
Thank you for
uh,
having me. Thank you.
thank you for being here, and, I can't wait to, give you a big hug and get some of that amazing, Caribbean plant-based food from you.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Oh, honey. Can't wait. Mwah.
Love
I love
you.
Edushi.
Bye.